Hey everyone, my name's Greg, I like school. In 1892, 10 prominent educated white guys who represented universities and schools from across the country met to decide the direction of secondary education. 123 years later, their recommendations are still implemented in high schools across the country. Today's educational landscape, though, is ready for a new course to be drawn. Technology is the vehicle for much of this recent push. With the device in their hands, students now have instant access to the combined knowledge of the world. But technology is not the panacea for education. To optimize the learning experience, students need a liberal yet calculated dose of autonomy over their content. This approach, paired with technology integration, allows students to explore the paths and avenues that add meaning to their learning. In today's high school classroom, teachers must facilitate a learning environment rather than act as its focal point. As a social studies teacher, community is another necessary element to rounding out the 21st century student. For example, students say, "I can't wait to get out of York. It's so boring here." The reality is, boredom should come from overexposure, not preconceived ideas. So how do you develop an engaging project that asks for learners to care about York? The design process starts with an overarching concept. For my 10th grade global studies classes, students contextualize the modern world by taking a look at the social, political, and economic issues drawn back to European colonization. More importantly, though, I want students to gain a deeper understanding that today's global issues also resonate in our communities. Poverty in Africa is poverty in York. Environmental issues in China are environmental issues here. As students select and analyze a topic of interest, I want them to build empathy and a deeper understanding of the human element. And this is where design meets form. Whether it be a short film, a collaboratively written song, or an award for a local nonprofit, we design an end goal that embodies the overarching idea. This idea materializes in 3 tangible skills: research, collaboration, and presentation. Research comes in a multitude of forms since students have little prior knowledge. A large gap needs to be filled. Although many students see this as mundane, their success in the later part of the project is directly tied to finding research or finding quality information. Traditional research methods, Google, also builds their ability to connect to other topics and content areas. But in a high school with so many experts, I also ask students to speak with and collaborate with others. This non-traditional approach to think more deeply about their project, potentially in a symbolic format, strengthens the student's ability to speak about their topic. Students need to leave earlier stages of the project with a thorough understanding of the issue. The next component of the project is collaboration. Teenagers, for the most part, are social beasts. Allowing students to purposefully collaborate builds the soft skills they need after high school. Student collaboration also reinforces the idea that the group is stronger than the individual, especially when creativity is required. It's not until students can verbally express and vet their ideas with an invested group of students that the project can grow. With access to technology, the creativity and knowledge of the group doesn't have to stop with just its members. Students have contacted authors and Hollywood types, as well as international academics and experts. As many of you know, York also has an abundance of professionals who are willing to collaborate with students. Although I'm comfortable with film, I'm no expert, and for our spring 2014 project, I sought out and students worked with a local photographer, filmmaker, and producer on transitioning their ideas from paper to film. The third focus of our project is presentation. In a deliberate approach, I never reveal the final project until we get to that part. When I tell them what they need to create and that it will be presented in an extremely public venue, they usually freak out. They begin to understand that their reputation hinges on the quality of their presentation. As I said earlier, the final product requires students to create something they might have never done before. So after the research and collaboration with professionals, they are usually committed to this end goal. And by this time, they also deserve unique opportunities to work and create in authentic circumstances. This past April, students were excited to find out that with local musicians that they collaborated with, those musicians would be performing their songs. The 2 students that you just saw asked if they could perform their group song. Of course, I said yes, And when else would the two students have that opportunity to perform in such a public venue? They believed in themselves because they believed in their work. And that's what it's all about, creating an authentic learning experience that speaks on a deeper level. High school students have an abundance of creativity that, when channeled properly, can produce some amazing things. I don't negate that some information is essential for students to understand as they move past high school. But ultimately, we need to empower students with the research, collaboration, and presentation skills that can be applied across any content area. So that brings us to Project Apollo. Apollo is a pilot program developed in collaboration with two other teachers at Central York, Wes Ward and Jim Grandy. Taking the lead from our forward-thinking administration, we created a course that gives students autonomy over their content, but requires them to build projects and fuse social studies, English, and art. Apollo meets for 4 hours every day, and students build their schedule according to their needs. We host mini sessions that address everything from Emily Dickinson to Dick Van Dyke to Otto Dix. Other sessions revolve around 8 research-based thinking skills. Students can also attend sessions on analyzing primary sources, stretching a canvas for painting, or building sounds and poetry. Really, we cater to their needs. And their projects are impressive. Projects range from an analysis of topography used during World War I and World War II to a personal reflection on divorce. Through all of these projects, I found that the true craft of building a project is sometimes letting go. Students need to take control of their learning that will hopefully last a lifetime.